We went to Vegas, like Ludwig invites me to a poker game. Like obviously, and the buy-in I think was like 50 grand. Like obviously I'm just gonna pull 50 grand out and go play in it. So it's not like I don't have access to capital if I need it, you know what I mean? Yeah. I just, you know, like in the last probably 20 days, I've only left the studio once. I just live here. Like I don't really need money for other things, you know?
Cool. These are the more interesting questions that I'm personally interested in. How do you plan to expand the business?
Ooh, that's where it gets fun. Oh boy, well, I think for starters, you know, I just want to keep making the best videos possible. I have to reiterate, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but everything I do stems from that. Because if I stop making the best videos, people stop watching, and then Feastables is irrelevant, Beast Burger is irrelevant, all the companies are just literally irrelevant. So that, and then stemming off from that, next I really want to get into making mobile games. I think that'd be a lot of fun because we have a gaming channel that gets like 20 million views a video. We did the Finger on the App challenge. We had 2 million concurrent players, and I didn't even mention it in a video. That was just like on Twitter and Instagram.
I think Jack tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It lasts like a couple hours.
yeah, but so that was kind of a case study. Like I can get millions of people to play a game. So I want to build mobile games. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And then I really want to scale up Feastables, launch new products. We're going to launch cookies, and then next I want to do like well, I don't want to say what's after that, but it'll be a great product. And then Beast Burger, we're getting into building physical locations. So in 2 weeks we open our first physical Beast Burger. We have 2,000 virtual. We're building that, and then based on how that goes, I want to build 10, and then 50, and then 100 physical locations, and just keep leveraging the brand.
Do you think there could be a work-life balance?
Yes, there. Well, not if you want to grow as quick as we are. No, I mean, because at the end of the day, if I stop filming on the main channel, the videos stop going up. If I stop filming on Reacts, the videos stop going up. Beast Philanthropy, they stop going up. TikTok, they stop going up. You know what I mean? So all that centers around me, and then all the side businesses center around me. But yeah, if I wanted to, I could just not build a snack brand. I could just not do a restaurant, and I could just not do a mobile game company, and I could just not do gaming, a gaming channel and a React channel, and I could just do my main channel. I'd probably be way happier and have way more free time. But that's just not who I am, and it sounds weird, but it's just ingrained in me. Those are the things that like get me up and get me out of bed, and like when I don't do them, I'm depressed. So I like pushing myself, and I see it as a sport, and like going hard in business and building them, even though it's stressful and it's very difficult. And like sometimes I'm like, you have a mental breakdown. You're like, why am I doing this? Why did I push myself so hard? But then when you're not doing it, you're just depressed. So it's like a weird system, a weird situation, but I love it. But sometimes I don't, and here I am.
Do you ever get anxious randomly, or just worried about
all the time? Yeah, because you're just like, oh, should I be working on this business? Is this the best use of my time? Should I be doing this? Blah blah blah. This blah blah that. 100%. Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I just keep on working. I'm not the best for advice like this. You guys should actually get advice from someone that's not a 24-year-old idiot that's only built businesses his entire life with no social skills.
Do you think eventually you want a family and kids, or do
That's
you think
an interesting question. Family and kids. So here's the thing. Elon has kids. Steve Jobs.
9 of them.
Yes, he does. Steve Jobs has kids. Bill Gates has kids. All these ultra successful people. Not that I want to be them or whatever, but in general, I just like view building business as a video game, and it's kind of fun. And so all these really successful people have kids. So I used to in the past be like, heck no, they're a waste of time. But then you see all these people who, time's worth more money than anyone else in the world, an hour of their time, but they justify it, and they say, even the most obsessed people you can find still say it's, having kids brings them the most joy in their life. So, it's just like the thought of devoting that much time to someone for at least 18 years is like so scary, and it's like opportunity cost-wise, not optimal. But all these other successful people do it, and they don't regret it. Like I can't really find anyone who really has. So I don't know. I'm kind of like in that weird area where I'm still trying to figure out like, would it make me fulfilled, and would that be the one thing where I could be, where it takes me away from the business? Like if I raising someone and investing my life in a mini version of me and programming its brain to be a little genius, is that something I would enjoy enough where I wouldn't mind basically setting aside 18 years of my life from the business?
What do you worry about? Is there anything that goes through your mind where?
No, I'm not really that kind of person. Anything that's out of your control, it's kind of a waste of your time to worry about. You know what I mean? So if it was in your control, fix it. If not, make a mental note and move on.
Cool. This is an interesting one. What's your biggest insecurity?
Biggest insecurity? Well, right now, we're putting all these monies into these videos, and I'm I would say like storytelling. I love storytelling, but like our videos are very fast paced, and so sometimes you do have to give up a little bit of the story in order to keep the videos moving. And I feel like I'm a pretty good storyteller, but I've always taken pride in that. But especially more recently, like a lot of people say like, oh, the videos are too quick, or MrBeast just isn't a great storyteller. He's just good at making things move fast and spending money. And you know, that stuff, I ignore it, so it doesn't matter. But I guess of anything, it would be that. Like a lot of people think the only reason we get views is because I just throw money at it, and they don't realize that, you know, we spent a decade just studying what does well, you know, studying, figuring out our own style, figuring out our own way to do things, and the amount of hours I put into like just expanding the inspiration in my brain just so I can come up with original ideas, and the months on months we spend building the sets and working on it, and the weeks we spend editing and all this, and then, you know, they're just like, oh, he just spent money. That's it. There's nothing special. You know what I mean?
Is there anything that you think that I didn't ask that you think the audience would want to hear, or that you want to share? Because this is more finance, business oriented.
Of course.
And so it's a different audience that I feel like you could share something that maybe they're not, that they didn't think of, or that you feel like more people should know.
YouTube, I've said this before, but maybe because your audience might not have listened to me before, I think YouTube is only going to grow bigger and bigger because it comes pre-installed on Android. You know, Google funnels people to it. Alphabet owns all this. So almost every area of the internet points to YouTube. So I think YouTube's going to keep growing, and at least like the next 5 to 10 years. I think it's going to, like, in 10 years, YouTube's going to be bigger than television ever was for culture, in America at least, in my opinion. And so I think a lot of people underestimate that, and I don't think people really understand just how, like, to be one of the top creators on the biggest social media platform, and that will also be the biggest in 10 years during that whole time, like the amount of value and how crazy that is. Like, you don't need a network, you don't need you know, to go through people. You just are. You can do whatever you want, and you can influence people how you want. It's just wild. It's mind-blowing, and you can leverage that to build businesses, or, you know, like do things like Beast Philanthropy or whatever. I think like people don't realize just how crazy it is that you have. I don't even know where I'm going with it, but like, you know, how much influence the top YouTube channels have. Like for us, we have 100 million people on average that watch almost everything we put up. You know, if you include non-English and English, everything we do, 100 million people will watch. When has someone else ever had that kind of power without having to go through a network or anything? I just upload whatever I want. I could upload a black screen, you know what I mean? Yeah. And hit tens of millions of people. It's crazy.
Does that ever worry you that you have that much influence on so many people?
No. I think you know, we did Team Trees, we do Team Cs. Typically, our stuff centers around doing good, and no, actually, it excites me because, especially like on our Beast Philanthropy channel, so we started a food pantry, a charity, 501c, and we make videos around it, and we use the money from those videos to fund the charity. And I cover all the costs of the videos, so it's 100% profit that goes into the charity, which is a nonprofit. Which is a huge cash sink. But that channel alone, like, I've had hundreds of parents, probably even 1,000 at this point, that I meet in a Walmart or I meet out or whatever, just tell me stories of like their kids watch that, and then when they get tooth fairy money, they want to go donate it to charity, or like their little 12-year-old kid wants to go volunteer because they watched a Beast Philanthropy video, etc. And I see thousands of tweets, maybe not thousands, hundreds of tweets like that a day. And so, no, I feel like we're doing a good job in inspiring people to care. And you know, yeah, maybe it could be perfect, but in general, I feel like compared to other stuff, we're doing a pretty good job.
Who do you look up to the most?
Who do I look up to the most?
I mean, I think Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Yeah,
the thing is, you got to do a caveat with them. Because Steve, you know, as inspiring as he is, was a little bit of an asshole. Yeah. And so I think this is the thing that I don't think everyone understands. You can look up to someone without idolizing everything they do. There's never been a perfect human on this earth. Anyone, I don't care. You could pick anyone you look up to. Someone could find something wrong and be like, Graham, why do you look up to them? One time they lied. You know what I mean? Anyone, doesn't matter who they are. So I do look up to Steve, but I actually think like if he was nicer, I think he would have been more successful, to be honest. Like I don't think him being mean to his employees and so ruthless is why he was so successful. So that out the way, yes, it's definitely Steve Jobs. His just unrelenting passion with making the best product ever. This is the #1 product in the history of mankind. There's never been a higher grossing product ever that's created by someone. The iPhone. Yeah. Billions, right, have been sold. It's wild. And so, yeah, it's just his unrelenting focus on an obsession of making the best product possible, not conceding, quality. I love that he also left Apple, became a billionaire at Pixar, and was just such a creative genius that he could help. Obviously, he didn't do it all, but help make Toy Story and all those other films. And that's actually how he became a billionaire.
Yeah.
And then Apple had to buy Next just to bring him back, and you literally can see it right when he comes back. It takes off. Obviously, he had this secret sauce, and he knew what he was doing. And the fact that when he came back, he cut all the products. So inspiring. Just a laser-like focus and obsession. This is just kind of what I aim to implement in our videos, because it's just beautiful to see.
How do I get people to subscribe who are watching this right now? How do I convince them?
Well, the easiest thing is just to tell them, right? If you upload a video, let's say that gets 1 million views, and you don't say to subscribe, you might on average get a couple thousand. But if you go, hey, you should subscribe right now, that, a lot of people who wouldn't have done it because they just didn't think of it are now thinking about it, and it will convert to 10 or 20,000. So literally just say it, and you're good.
Jack, I think, has a few things he wants to ask you.
Okay. So you always say you want to make the best video possible. But by best, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean strictly just views?
No, it's literally just whatever makes the audience happiest. That you could interchange it. Whatever makes the viewer happy. When you click on a video, I want to give you whatever emotion we're trying to convey. If it's helping people and we're trying to make you be like, oh, or intensity when I'm running from the FBI, whatever that is, I just want to make it as good of a viewing experience as possible.
Now, question for you. What if you could reach 500 million people that see that video that are moderately happy, or you get 50 million people who are really happy who watch that video?
Oh, gosh. I've never had someone ask me that before. Reach smaller, dedicated 500. I mean, the thing is, if you're reaching 500 million people, naturally there's going to be a 10% subsection of it that is really happy. So I would just pick the 500 million.
So the larger number, assuming that of the larger number, a smaller
Of course, because you don't get the larger numbers without building dedicated fan base. But yeah, no matter what, if you get 1 million views a video, not all 1 million are hardcore fans, but there are going to be hardcore fans as a subsection. And the bigger the gross number, assuming the content doesn't suck, the bigger the dedicated.
Would you ever do a vlog of just behind the scenes, just
I kind of
throughout your
did
day?
when I didn't eat for 30 days. Yeah, that was kind of it. Obviously, I cut out a lot of my life, but yeah.
I've noticed, by the way, I think that was the only video that didn't go on trending.
I didn't even notice, but you're right, it did.
I check every single one of your videos.
Really?
I notice always within 6 to 12 hours, it's #1 on trending.
Interesting.
When you posted that video, I was like, oh crap, how is YouTube going to respond to that?
Do you know how much #1 trending? Oh gosh, well, YouTube hates me for this. Do you know how much #1 trending for a day gets you in views? How many?
Wait, how many in terms of a percentage?
So if you get #1 trending on YouTube and it sits there for half a day, how many views do you think you'll get?
I was #2 once, and I noticed the view changed by about 10%.
Okay.
It wasn't much.
Well, I can tell you, because we've had hundreds of videos on it, what the median view is.
Yeah.
It's around 1 million views.
That's the change?
Yeah, that's just what you'll get. From when you go on trending to when you fall off, if you get up to #1, it's 1 million views.
But for you, that would be
it's not
1.5%, 2%.
Yeah, but the thing is that's great and this is why I do like it. Please keep giving me it, or whoever. It's a lot of new viewers. So it's not your typical people who've seen it. So what you'll see is they come in, they watch a video, and then you can search their username 2 hours later. So they'll be like, oh, I've never seen your channel before. I just found it on trending. And then 2-3 hours later, search their name again, and they'll be like, I just watched 20 videos. I didn't know this existed. How do you give away this? What is this channel? This is crazy. And so that's why I like things like even your audience, doing this. Not that this is why I'm doing it. You're just a cool guy and it's fun to hang out with you. But you'll bring people over, and a viewer from you is better than 10 of my viewers coming back, because your guy hasn't seen our channel before. So he might go watch 100 videos, whereas the 10 coming back might only watch 1 or 2 because they've seen the rest. Does that make sense?
I love that video, by the way, but when I saw it, I was so worried that YouTube wouldn't want to recommend it. Because they would be worried about people imitating that and be like, well, I'm not going to eat now for 31 days.
We had tons of disclaimers, and we had a doctor throughout it. So, I don't know. I mean, honestly, the retention on it wasn't as good as normal. So the video's not doing as well, but I think I just didn't. I had never done a long vlog like that. And the problem is, after day 9, I just stopped filming as much because I was so hungry and I just was so tired that day 9 to 14, there was no footage. And even day 6, I just didn't record it. I was just good morning. And that was all I had. So that if I could do it over again, I would have just vlogged better, and I think I could have made the video 10 times
Vlogging is really
better.
difficult. We wanted to vlog some of the trip, and we vlogged the first night really well. And
you just forget.
Yeah, exactly.
There's other stuff that goes on.
You just. But I don't want to film in the moment. When you're in there, you don't want to be really quick and take it in your phone. It ruins it. So I get that. But I think if you were to do some sort of personal vlog, just from your own standpoint, with no one else around, just you holding a camera, people would love that and get to know you behind
I 100% agreed. Yeah. My only problem is that I'd show the behind the scenes of this operation a lot, and I think we talked about this on the main channel video we did for you, is people just copy everything I do. And I'm like, I'm trying to like tell these other people who, like people call MrBeast clones, like, take inspiration, but don't just copy. Yeah. And people would, to a T, just do what I do every day, and there'd just be like 30 of me running around, little me's, that just don't put as much time in or money in because they just think fast cuts is all we do, and you know. Do you ever worry about, I watched a video, it's called the MrBeastification of YouTube. Did you see this video? Yeah, actually, I reached out to him and talked to him. Yeah, he was really cool. It was so entertaining. It was a 40-minute long video, and I love this guy's analytics of how he broke it down. Do you ever worry that it's gonna get too saturated? Now, I know you could always one-up, and you could always make the videos better, but do you worry that style is, I don't want to say outplayed, but too many people are doing it, it's becoming too common, and now you have to change to adapt? The only thing is, no one's doing it at our scale, with our creativity, our originality, our effort. Like most of these people, they literally think the only thing that makes my videos good is that I just cut them quick, and they're just like cut, and they think that's why we get 100 million views a video. They don't, you know, they don't spend months, you know, thinking of ideas, and like I talked about before, like, you know, studying new things so you can get better inspiration, so you can come up with more original ideas. And then, you know, sometimes we work on videos for 6 to 8 months, and all that time and effort we put into it, and our average video is around $1.2 million right now. And so the money, and then we usually, sometimes, like the hotel video, we're gonna be filming for 2 weeks straight. So all that production time, all that money, all that effort, all the time on the front end with originality, and then we spend weeks editing it across, you know, 7 to 10 revisions. Like, that's why the videos do well. Not because we just go, cut, and I just throw money, you know what I mean? And so, no, because the MrBeastification, which by the way, I love the video, and he was actually really nice. I reached out to him, he's a really great guy. But no, none of them do it right. Like, they usually copy like 1 or 2 aspects, but we're still the only place where you can get the full picture, you know what I mean? Yeah. So.
Do you think that the current style of content that you're producing right now is going to be able to last forever, like the massive spectacle type content? Because YouTube kind of goes through the ebb and flow of like, maybe this style of content's performing well, and now this style. Do you think that the current style is going to last a long time? No, I don't think like just what we're currently doing is going to be relevant forever. But that's the beauty, because we just adapt and innovate. I'm not hard set on anything. I just love creating, you know what I mean? So like, I used to do these videos where I donate to Twitch streamers. Like, I would just go open up their random Twitch streams, I'd donate 10 grand and say nothing, and then just watch them freak out. People loved it. We did like 12 of those. They all went super viral. Like, they were getting tons of views. People were begging for more, but you know, I was like, 12's enough. There's plenty. That's like 2 hours of content. Like, you don't really need that many more. And so I pivoted and I stopped doing them, even though people wanted them. And then I started doing Last Sleeps. People love that. And they're like, oh, never mind, forget the Twitch stuff. This is cool. And we did a bunch of those. And now I occasionally do them when I come up with a really big idea. And you know, and then the thing is, like, the getting hunted by FBI, did you see that one, and the bounty hunter and stuff? And then I pivoted and did that. You just always pivot and change it up. I'm not hard set on anything. The content I'll be making in 5 years is different than the content I'm making now, and the content I'm making now is different than the content I made a year ago, and a year ago, and a year ago, and it's always gonna change. I think that's how you stay relevant. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think Ryan Trahan really threw a curveball with YouTube, and his 30-day penny series. I started watching, I think, around day 12. Yeah. Never watched it before in my life, but starting day 12, I watched every single video. I couldn't tell you what was so special about it, but just seeing his firsthand experience, and him spending no money. And I think I appreciated that like, anybody could do this if they really wanted to. 100%. So 2 things on that. There are tons of viral ideas that people can do that don't require money. It does not require money to go viral. Like, at one point, one of my most viewed videos was like spending 24 hours in a desert. We just grabbed a tent and some stuff, and we went in the desert. And it got like 60, 70 million views. I have so many videos where we spent hardly any money, like the no food one, or I'd have to pull up the channel and go through it, that have gotten tens of millions of views, and they would have gotten 10+ million views even on a small channel. So people who say, oh, well, I could be MrBeast if I had money. Well, A, I didn't start off with money. I was poor. I had no money, and it took me like 7 years just to buy a camera, saving up from YouTube. And B, some of our most viewed videos, literally, like, anyone could do. Like, you know, maybe spend a little bit less on a tent, but still, it's not that expensive. Yeah. But back to the Ryan thing, I agree. I think what Ryan did was, like, remember, there used to be like the Logan Pauls and the Caseys and all these vloggers, but vlogging died because it was repetitive, boring, and to be honest, like, there's only so much interesting stuff you can do in a 24-hour period, and if you have to do that every day, it's just like almost impossible.
to like make it interesting. So that kind of died off. And then you kind of have like the rise of what we have and like spectacles and just cool things that people go, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And so he kind of blended it together. He was the first person I've ever seen that made what I call modern vlogging. Like he took the old format of vlogging that people used to love. Like Casey would get millions of views of video, Logan would get millions of views of video, Jake, Romanat would go down the list. So clearly there's an innate reason we liked vlogging before it got stale. So he found the way to do vlogging, but with an overarching goal that makes it interesting. So now, and then like the great reset, you don't know if next video he's gonna get started back to zero. He has to literally make the money to buy the plane ticket, to then make money to live off of and sleep. And so it's also very interesting, engaging. So there's like an overarching through story. It's like each video is interesting. You don't know if he's gonna restart, if he's gonna be able to feed himself, and there's a giant payoff at the end. There's an incentive to keep watching him coming here and surprising me. So that is what I would call modern vlogging, and he's the first person to kind of crack the code. The only thing is, I don't know, which is why I'm excited to see his next series and his next one. I don't know how you keep keep doing that over and over again. A big part of it is very taxing on him, revolving around him, and I'm super curious to see what the next one is.
How strategic is it for you to bring on your friends?
Ooh, like Chris, Chandler, Carl, and them?
Yeah. This is Jack
Yeah,
Jack gets credit for this, or Jack brought that up, like, oh, wow, that is interesting.
I was just curious because in the beginning it was mainly just you, and then obviously like brought on Chris, and then from there you went to just basically your own friend group, and then from there now you're just doing a bunch of random people. Is there any reason from this like gradual change from just you into like a group of people that you don't even know?
Well, it depends. So are you talking about like the core boys that are in every video, or are you talking about the contestants?
I feel like a lot of the time the videos now, they include the contestants or just like a lot of other
but
people.
the thing is, the only people that are consistent in every video are Nolan, Carl, Chris, Chandler. And so those guys are there just because we're friends. And because the sheer, like the hotels, we're about to be flying around the world for 2 weeks. Like we would go crazy, so it's like we don't cast and churn through 1,000 different people and blah blah. It's literally just like if Chris went out and got a new best friend today, they'd probably start popping in the videos. It's just kind of how it works. Assuming they also get along well with Carl and Chandler and me. So like it was just me and Chris at the start, and then and then Chandler was our janitor, and Chris and Chandler just occasionally hung out, and so then I was like, okay, well, Chandler's his friend, so we put Chandler in a video, and the fans loved him, and he, and he got along well with us, and there you go. Now it's me, Chris, and Chandler, and then Carl was one of our editors, and then Chris and him just became inseparable. That's funny. That's how Chris is the hardest person to find friends for. Yeah. So if someone hits it off with Chris and they actually like hanging out, then I'm like, yes, we struck gold, because it's pretty easy for everyone else to like them, and so they started becoming friends, and so then we were just like Chris just didn't want to film unless Carl was holding the camera, and then eventually I was just like, okay, well, we just put him on camera, and it was great. The audience loved him, turned out well, and then Nolan's just been a friend of mine for like 5 years. Like as long as they're friends with everyone, I think that natural camaraderie and just flow just shows on camera, and I think that's the most important thing, because you can't fake friendship, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know you spoke a lot about scrapping your videos, and you said this on like a lot of different podcasts.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, are there any recent video ideas that you've scrapped?
Oh boy. The problem is, our videos are getting so expensive, and I reinvest so much of the money that I can't afford scraps like I used to. It's a lot easier to scrap a $100,000 video than a $2 to $3 million video.
Yeah.
But like the island video, for example, we went out there, got the 100 contestants down there, terraformed the island, went to film it. It was terrible. Like there's a lot of bottlenecks, like importing stuff to the Bahamas. There was problems there. The pier got ripped away because of waves. I didn't like the way certain parts of the island, so we had to move a couple hundred trees so it looked better on the beach scene. And so we ended up not filming it, but we spent like $2 million like doing it all. And then and then we ended up going back a month later because we just needed way more time to terraform the island. So usually now the videos are so big that if I scrap it, we just refilm it later. But most of the money, it sucks because most of the money you don't really recoup. So it's like, whatever. I'm trying to really get it down because it's brutal, like losing $1 million or $2 million.
Wow. And all of the videos that you have scrapped in the past, do you think that there would be any good reason to post those on YouTube, even if it's on a different channel, so you don't want to post it on the main channel?
Yeah, Ludwig's channel.
I saw that.
It's Ludwig's most viewed video.
Unexpected. I was watching his video, I was like, wait, what? That is cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like a little Easter egg.
That's probably, if I scrap a video in the future, I'll probably just auction it off. Or
Really?
or upload it on someone else's channel. I mean, yeah, I could upload it on MrBeast too and make a little money, but I don't know. I feel like it's funnier to upload it on Ludwig's channel.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I watched it.
I mean, I lost $1 million,
Yeah.
but hey, at least we got a funny joke.
Gosh, that's cool.
Do you ever feel imposter syndrome with all of your success? Sometimes like maybe you weren't deserving of it or anything?
Imposter syndrome. So I think I did at one point. Like, it's still, if I walk into Walmart and like 30 people follow me around, I'm like, oh, when I feel that, actually, the only time I really feel it is like when we get a Make-A-Wish, because now that we're really starting to get big, we get those quite a bit. And I'm like, of all the people on the planet, like, why me? You know what I mean? And so I tell them, like, don't give them their wish back. Like, I'll send them a video saying hi and, you know, talking to them or whatever, but don't waste their fucking wish on me. That makes me feel horrible. So I guess in that sense, I kind of feel it.
I want to get your advice from me. I feel like I've kind of tapped out in terms of what I could do on YouTube. I know there's something bigger. I don't know what it is yet, but YouTube is going so well with everything that I don't want to stop what I'm currently doing.
Yep.
But I don't feel the same passion as I did 3
boy.
years ago.
Okay.
But it's going so well. So when you look at the numbers, everything is the best it's been. But I feel like there's something else. I don't know what that is, and I'm having trouble finding that.
So your flame's going out a little bit.
It is, but I want to continue with the same path that I have.
Well, I mean, the answer is you just got to take risks. Like, whatever it is that you got to take calculated risks that you're confident in. Just like, you know, for me, like the analogy I said before, when we did all those Twitch donation videos, it was getting tons of views, but I just knew, like, this will get stale. I'm going to jump ship before it gets stale, and I'm just going to do the next best thing. I mean, you have to be a little bit of a visionary and figure out what's the next evolution of it. I think you should do something where, like, I think we talked about this like a year ago. You should, like, get $100,000 from me and then like invest it, and then we do a video together in a year to see if you made me money or not. Like, that would be interesting. Or you know, maybe you get a bunch of other financial channels together and you each like take $100,000, you all invest it, and then you lock it, and then you see who made the most in a year, and you all get together. That would be like a next level Super Bowl type collab. You know what I mean? If you and the 5 other biggest financial channels did that, and it was like a competition, and whoever made the most got all the money. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you would probably enjoy. Your audience would love. It'd get tons of people talking, cross promotion, every way. It's probably a win. Could you imagine if you did that?
I'm worried that the audience really cares about up-to-date news and like quick stuff, that they wouldn't have the attention span to watch.
I think you're crazy.
Like that.
I think if you got you and the 4 other biggest, or maybe 3 other biggest financial YouTubers, you each made a video on your channels. You're like, okay, you have the cash. We're each taking $100,000. We can invest in whatever we want, and then we're gonna get whoever investment is worth the most in a year gets all the money from everyone. And then you each made videos on it, and you made a public website where people could track the portfolios of all 4 of you. And then in a year, you all make follow-up videos about your portfolios and who won. Bro, tell me that's not good. Is that not good?
It sucks.
I think it's a
because,
great idea.
well,
I've also told him to do in real life Monopoly with the other finance creators. He didn't want to do that either.
In real life Monopoly, I don't know if that will hit, but I think
Because it's slow.
Well, it's just like it's a little childish, and that I could see like the 50-year-old dad watching your channel wouldn't care about that.
I invested $100,000 with a stock picking monkey who picked stocks randomly. It was my worst performing video.
Let me see this thumbnail.
Oh no, you're not.
We
gonna
spent
like
a lot of time on this thumbnail.
No, you're gonna hate it.
Shred it to parts,
Type
man.
in Graham Stephan stock picking monkey. You're probably gonna hate it.
Picking
Monkey.
monkey.
I'm worried. We spent so long on this thumbnail and it bombed. And by the way, on that, I changed the title thumbnail multiple times, and everything I did failed. Everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think I spent $100,000 on a stock picking monkey. That just doesn't even make sense, right? Like, if I say I built the world's largest firework, or I launched the world's largest firework, you can envision that. I don't even, like, I spent $100,000 on a stock. What is a stock picking monkey? It's not clear.
We don't get it either.
We were trying so hard to clickbait, it didn't even make
So
sense.
how would you do that? I mean,
I would title it instead, like, I would have done it, but it starts with the idea. You just fucked yourself. You just picked an idea that's hard to convey in a title and thumbnail.
Correct.
I would have done something like, I blindfolded myself and picked, I invested $1 million into random companies, or something like blindfolding myself and picking investments with darts, right? Or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I would have to think on it for a couple weeks, but I could come up with something. But if you could convey to the viewer that you blindfolded yourself and threw darts at investments and you put $1 million in those investments, they would click. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you my idea that I really want to do at some point. It's what we did today. I think that's the next thing. I don't know if I want this included because I know everyone would copy
Interviewing other creators.
But this, what I did with Pokimane Stradman,
Michael Reeves.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary. All of those videos got at least 1 million views.
Yep.
And people loved them.
And did you see the studio tour I did with Mr. Who's the Boss?
I did.
Yeah. I think the demand for that kind of content is crazy.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I told Colin and Samir the same thing. What we're doing here is what I'm telling Colin and Samir they should be doing with all other creators.
Yeah.
So I would agree. Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, basically the top 100 creators, like, no one really interviews them.
I think that, or just business people. Like, Kevin O'Leary was so interesting in terms of like how he invests and like stuff like that, but like a 15-minute
And you got
deep
one
dive.
with Andrew Tate where you just asked him what he invested in.
That's
Gosh.
what I've been telling him. He doesn't want to have
I think it's too risky.
He offered to come on the podcast, but Graham didn't want to.
Really?
We have to go to Croatia. I thought it was too risky. And I didn't want him to say something that a brand might not like.
Just cut it.
But then where's the that's, I feel like what's
Then
people
put it
want
in.
to see.
Bro, if
about
you just
Andrew
went
Tate.
on there and you were like, Andrew, how do you make your money? And you just let him talk, bro, that would have popped.
It's
worried
not
it's
you
gonna-
that's saying the things.
I know, but I'm worried that I'm giving him a platform while he says something that might reflect poorly.
Pivot from Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Pick anyone, like
Yes.
LeBron. If you could get LeBron
Shaq.
in a room, Shaq, and you're just
would
like,
be-
how do you make money? What are your investments? Banger. Like those, what is it, GQ or whatever? Ones where,
My
like,
first million.
Yeah, do that, but just do their investment portfolios. Huge series. You already know the answer.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously, those are bangers.
That's
no
what
one's
I
doing
think,
them.
yeah.
100%.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming out to the iced coffee. Don't forget to
Subscribe and like.
subscribe
Yeah.
and why like? Likes are irrelevant.
I don't know.
If he ever
I think
says
it helps
like
with the-
again, tweet at him and tell him to stop.
No.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
They gotta like the video. Cool. Thanks, man.
No problem. That was
Yeah.
good.